Hey guys, it's Rena. Welcome back to my channel. This is going to be attempt number 2 at a tutorial. Hopefully you could tell that's what I'm doing because I only have one eye done. Someone on my last tutorial, Grace Daly, I hope that's how you say the last name, commented and asked for a tutorial using one of 3 Urban Decay palettes. Unfortunately, I don't have the Vice 4 anymore, but she had asked for either Vice 4, Urban Decay Electric, or Moondust, and I decided to go with Electric to kind of show you guys the look I do all the time with the Electric palette, which is my favorite palette. It is unfortunately discontinued. I think some online retailers still have it. It pops up every now and then. So I hope you guys can find it. If you can't, actually the BH Cosmetics Club Tropicana palette is a decent dupe in terms of color. Not necessarily formula, but for at least the shimmery shades, there are good dupes in that palette. So maybe that should be like a what do I call it? Like a goal, mission for me to kind of create a list of dupes for the Urban Decay palette because the Electric palette is incredible. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started on this eye. Kind of scooch in a little bit. This is gonna be a little awkward just because of like where I'm filming. But I've already put primer on this eye. I used the Urban Decay Primer Potion Original. That's just what I'm using right now. You can use whatever is good for you, whatever you found works. I also love the Wet n Wild primer. It's about the same as the Urban Decay, so that works too. The Electric palette has some colors in here that can stain, so I like to put NYX Milk down. These shades don't necessarily need the extra help. They just kind of need that little bit of a barrier between my skin and the pigment. So I'm just going to put a little bit of NYX Milk. Not too much. You really don't need much. Sorry about my nails. They're not the prettiest right now. I need to repaint them. Okay, so I have a feeling we're going to be getting a little bit of like skipping in this video just because of like my camera trying to focus, but hopefully you guys will get the idea regardless. So I am going to be using an Urban Decay brush. It's from one of their Vice palettes, and the first color that I'm going to go into is this color here called Thrash. It's kind of a bright, intense chartreuse shade. It's almost matte, honestly, but it has just a little bit of a fine shimmer to it. Nothing that really shows up too much on the lid. And I'm just going to tap off the excess and go into the inner corner with it. See how bright that is? I know I have it over NYX Milk, but it is such an intense color. I'm going to go in with just a little bit more. We don't really need to. It's just kind of habit for me. And I'm going to pat it right on. Next, we're going to go into the color Freak. My palette's really dirty, so Freak right here. This probably has the biggest dip in my entire palette. I have a feeling when I hit pan on this one area that I always go into. There's a couple shades in this palette where I'm definitely going to hit pan soon. I've been using it for so long now. And we're just going to put Freak next to Thrash, kind of blending it over part of Thrash and all into the middle of the lid. Like that. I love this color. Okay, next I'm going to go into Gonzo, which is a matte turquoise, really vibrant. And I'm not even going to use a lot of it really, just a tiny little bit. This is really just a blending agent, and I'm gonna put this over about 1/3 of Freak, and kind of blend it towards the outer corner as well. Okay, not bad. The next step is to go into the shade Fringe up at the top. I've also used this quite a bit. It's a very deep, rich, dark teal. It's gorgeous. The shade is just, it's so rich. I just love the color. It's really great. And I'm going to actually put this all over the rest of the lid and kind of create my shape. I don't experiment too much with my shape. It's kind of sad. Every now and then I try like a wing with shadow, but I typically just kind of do this like domed type of look. I never noticed until recently that my technique in terms of shaping is very similar to vintage or tacky. And also a little bit like, oh, I almost went into my other eye. I'm a dummy. Vintage or tacky and X Sparkage, and those are the two that I grew up watching. Like, I learned everything from them. I would actually like find a tutorial from them, put it on at night, watch it, and then recreate it the next day for school. And I learned pretty much everything I know from them. So honestly, this look right now is already awesome, but I'm going to shake it up a little bit. And I'm going to go with a little like pencil type brush into the shade Chaos, which is like a matte royal blue, really intense. You don't need much. Like, I didn't even drag my brush in it. I just tapped. And we're going to go right in the outer corner, dipping back in just as we need it. You really don't want to overdo it. And I'm just kind of adding it and building it in that outer corner. This color really helps add a little bit more depth to this look, and I really think it brings it all together. Kind of bringing it over fringe a little bit. Okay, so that's what we've got. And now I'm going in with the same brush into Urban, which is my favorite purple of all time. It's incredible, and I really do have a lot of use on this color. I'm just waiting for that pan. And I'm going to go right over where we put Chaos and just kind of incorporate some of that purple. Looks kind of dark right now. I mean, it is a dark look. I'm going to take the opposite end of the brush, this little like blending brush, and just kind of blend that out. I'm actually going to go back in with Fringe, the teal, and try and, oh, that was the wrong brush to use. Let's go back in with this guy. Back in with Fringe into the outer little third or so of the eye, just to kind of bring that teal back into focus and make that, you know, a main point of our look. You don't want any one thing to overpower the other. So this look is kind of a give and take of just kind of adding the shades and then blending over each other, and they really do blend phenomenally. So that's actually not too bad. We're looking pretty good. I'm going to go back with this brush and the purple Urban, and I'm going to go on the lower lash line. I only have primer down here. I probably should have put Nick's Milk, but I forgot because Urban does stain. So if you have this palette, just know that Urban does stain. I recommend using some kind of a white base. Looks a little bit messy, but not a big deal. Oh, I didn't realize I had like a bunch of glitter in the wrong spot over here. So that's embarrassing. But we'll be okay. Alright, so the next step is to blend out the crease. So I'm going to use the Kat Von D Pastel Goth palette just because it has basically every color I need for this. So I'm just taking a fluffy crease brush, and the first color I'm going to go into is called Gloom, which is the green. And I'm going to create just I'm going to basically mirror what I did up here, like going from lightest to darkest in our crease. So I'm taking Gloom, and I'm going over those greens, just the crease above, lightly, not a lot of product, just enough to make it look blended. And then above the blue, I'm going into Doom, which is the bright blue, You can use whatever matte shades you want. You can just use one shade if you wanted to. I just decided today to try this because I never have before. I've never tried doing like 3 different colors in the crease like this. So I thought, like, why not? I think it kind of just creates a little bit more cohesion. And then the last portion, I'm going to use Dope, which is like a periwinkle shade. So it's kind of both, it's mostly purple, but it does have some blue to it. So it kind of brings together the chaos and urban mixture we did. And then once we've kind of blended this, I'm going to go into the shade Skull, which is just a matte white, and I'm going to use that as my highlight. I don't love using whites as a highlight because I find it to almost go a little bit gray on me, and it just doesn't look very flattering, but it's what I have with me right now, so that's what we're getting. The last step for the actual eye look, besides mascara and liner, I'm going to take Urban Decay White Lie Vice Special Effect Top Coat. I don't love this on my lips just because of the numbing sensation. It doesn't do anything to my eyes. I don't know that it's marketed for the eyes, but I've seen a lot of people do it, and I haven't experienced any issues. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this right on the inner corner. Not getting it in the eye. Be careful to not do that. But I am just going to put it in the inner corner to really just add, you know, a little extra something to a look that's already crazy. Because, you know, that's how we roll. So I'm going to take a black liner and just tight line, basically. I didn't want to do winged liner. When I do this look, sometimes I do winged liner. But I find that it often takes away from the look, so I don't want to do that. I always make silly faces. And in my waterline, on top of that black liner, I'm going into Urban again, the purple, and I'm just going to put that on top to set it. So it kind of looks like more of a black and purple waterline, which I think looks cool. And the last eye step, I'm taking my Essence I Love Extreme Mascara, and just going to coat my lashes. So that is the finished eye look. I'm going to quickly go ahead and do my face. So for primer, I'm using my Urban Decay Optical Illusion Primer sample that I still have. Look, I seriously have that much left. I'm probably going to buy some next week once I run out. I'm just running on a really tight budget right now. So I've basically been buying things with money I make from D-stashes. So if you see any new product reviews or anything, I've pretty much purchased those things with money I've made from selling old things. Well, not like old, but things I already had and tried and didn't like. Or did, you know, liked but didn't use. I just, you know, I'm trying to like minimize my collection a little bit. It'll never be minimal. Just kind of cutting down. Okay, and the next thing is Kat Von D Lock-It Concealer Creme. I use L5 Neutral. But yeah, so I'm on a really tight budget. I've got some money in my PayPal account for like, if that Black Moon palette ever comes out, it's like my emergency fund. Like, need to get it. So I use my PayPal balance, but, you know, okay. I think the issue is my camera doesn't know what to focus on when I'm like looking down. That's why it's like lagging. Okay, now that that's on, I'm going to go in with my setting powder. I use Faraday Fluff. It's really inexpensive. It's $8.50. And you get quite a bit. It lasts me a long time. So I'm just going to kind of tap it off and go in. This is the Flower Beauty brush. My friend actually got it for me for graduation, which was super sweet of him. When I graduated from undergrad, he got it for me. He knew I liked makeup, and so this was like the graduation gift was a bunch of brushes from Flower Beauty, which was really, really sweet. Okay, and put the cap back on that so we don't make a mess. Now I'm going to do my blush, and I'm actually going to use a color from the Kat Von D Pastel Goth palette, Meow. It's like this really beautiful kind of purpley shade. It's really, really pretty purple lavender. I'm going to just apply that there. I just think it works really well with the whole overall look. I love purple lipstick and blush with this look. I just think it like brings it all together. And for highlighter, I'm using one from Shiro. This is called Love at First Lance. Yes, that is Lance Bass. This was like NSYNC Valentine's Day collection that they did a while ago, and I like this highlighter a lot. I've gotten rid of a lot of the other products, but the highlighter works really well, so it's a really beautiful highlighter. It's one of those where you could really build it up to be intense, or it can look really, really natural. And I usually do somewhere in between. Not super natural, but also not like Skin Frost, Jeffree Star intense, you know. Nothing like that. Okay, so now that that's done, I'm going to go ahead and do my brows, which I showed you guys last time. I just used the Urban Decay Brow Box. I use the Brown Sugar Brow Box, darkest shade, and I literally just fill them in, because that's about all I'm good for. I've tried. I had the Anastasia Dip Brow for a while, and I was just noticing in pictures that it looked terrible, and this just works better for me. I know that I have a big gap, but I'm not willing to overdraw my brows that much. I just don't like the look, and I don't have the time. I mean, I probably do have the time. I just don't want to dedicate the time. I guess there's a difference. So this is what we get. Okay. Then, last little piece, I'm taking Dose of Color Stone Lipstick, very basic nude pink. And we're just going to apply that. You can tell it's basically my lips, but like 2 tones darker. And this is it. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you to Grace Daly for suggesting the electric palette. I hope you guys liked the eye look. And let me know if you try it out. This is my favorite look from the electric palette. I definitely don't give enough love to these 2 colors, the pink and the orange. The silver, I just don't like the texture of it. It's the one shadow I think is bad in the palette. But I definitely love this palette. I mean, you can tell. Look at Urban. Like, that's beat up. Totally beat up. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think. Hopefully this was a little bit easier, better than the last tutorial. Fingers crossed it came out okay. So I hope you guys liked it. Here it is again if you wanted to just take one last look. And I will talk to you guys soon. Bye!